my interviewing style. I listen. I mean, I really listen. How do I do that? Well, I take a pad before I've ever begun to do the interview, and I write down all of my prejudices, my stereotypes, my opinions, and I put them aside. That's how I see it. So now I have a record of how I see it. But now I'm going to talk to you about how you see it. So I'm like an ear, listening as though I am the audience, you, watching these interviews in the future. What might you be curious about? What might you want to know more about? What means something to the future? And that's kind of tricky, because saying, well, I lived at 246 19th Avenue means nothing. To say, well, you know, I was a good salesman. What does that mean? So I've got to figure out what does mean something. What has history and grit and reality, and here's the key thing, authenticity. One of the hardest interviews I ever did, and you can see this on my channel, is with Earl Scruggs, the great banjo picker. He just didn't talk. But I was given the opportunity to make a 90-minute documentary for television and for the theaters with Earl Scruggs. What choice do I have? Earl, how did you feel about your early life? Well, Dave, it was nice. Not much of an interview there, is there? So either I leave my voice in, you'll see that sometimes I do, although not much, or I got to get more. How do I get more? Earl, I need to know what you mean by nice. Tell me, what do you mean by nice? Now he's challenged. Dave, people were friendly and they didn't care about money and they didn't care about prestige, but they really cared about the music. That's great. Isn't that a great sentence? I got those kinds of sentences over and over again. And sometimes I would ask what I thought was an innocent question. Well, did you like that time that you lived? Did you like your young life? Person says, yes. I say, no. I mean, tell me, what did it mean to you? And what comes out is something I never could have expected. You're seeing that in a lot of my interviews. One more question. Who do you admire professionally in your field and why? Well, the answer to that question is real simple. I admire anyone who makes an effort to record a video, make a movie. When I go to the theater, I don't go as a critic. I go amazed. You actually made a movie? You got the camera, you got the audio, you got the person, you filmed it, and you tried to make a drama out of it, and somebody's come to see it on television, in the theater, even on YouTube. To me, it takes courage to do one of these things. It takes experiencing creativity. And creativity is amazing because you don't know when you start what the outcome is going to be. I don't know about these videos that I'm making right now. Will they work? Will you feel some satisfaction as having heard an answer to a question or not? I don't know. So the courage to move forward in the creative process, I so admire that I admire every documentary filmmaker who certainly makes a feature doc or a television doc. I admire every theatrical filmmaker. I admire every YouTuber who steps in front of the camera or stands behind the camera and attempts to tell a story. In a future video, I'm going to talk about story because story is fascinating and will tell you a lot about my style and maybe help you with whatever you're doing. So I leave you with this thought. The word is legacy. Everything you record on your phone is a legacy, is a moment in time. And I know that because I've been around long enough. And I knew that when I was young because I realized that time is constantly changing, that everything is changing in some ways, and yet, of course, it isn't. Many of you debate in my old clips, is this still going on? Is it totally different? What was the 50s like? What was the 60s like? I'm going to talk about that, at least from my perspective, and what I've learned and what I hear from others in future videos. Okay, so I've given this a try. I've answered a few questions. I have many more. I want to thank you all for providing me with these questions, for supporting my effort and helping me actually by your comments to keep on going day after day, one video a day forever, right? That's what I'm about. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I promise you. Thank you all.